Hey,
DJ LeRoy.
NightWatchman. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Another week has gone.
That's right.
A lot of stuff popping, in Harlem. Harlem is a little live as it relates to, we got to do something about the gun violence, man. We're going to have to do something, address it, man, head on, What do you think?
Mm-hmm. I haven't shot anyone all year.
see, NightWatchman.
I tried to do my part,
Well, at least that is a start. Okay.
Yeah, but it's a start.
Well,
each one teach one.
See, I'm stopping you right there, okay, NightWatchman. But I definitely want to actually, have a discussion about spirits.
Mm-hmm. Okay? Yeah.
Hey, I'm not talking about wine, vino. I'm talking about spirits. I'm talking about the big brother.
Okay, I thought you were talking about ghosts for a second. Okay.
Not even that. Okay. You know what? Let's have a little discussion. Well, you know what? This particular first manufacturer is my man, the one, the only. We actually met each other at a career day of all places at a high school. Okay, and this brother, we became really, really fast friends, and that is my man Kevin or KB Bracey.
Hey, Kevin. Good morning.
All right, how you doing, brother?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming, man. Absolutely. Man,
no doubt.
Next brother, as a matter of fact, I kind of adopted him because whenever I would go to a beautiful event, let's say in East Harlem, his let's say product was right there. And, we became real fast friends. The one, the only, Mr. Joe Cruz. Bring him out. Joe.
Morning, brothers. How you doing?
All right. And as you said, NightWatchman, he got on the swag, so he's ready, right?
Absolutely.
I'm not going to show up anywhere without YaVe stuff. Like, this is, it doesn't make any sense. What are we doing over here? This is YaVe all day.
Right? Exactly.
YaVe all day. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, this particular brother I'm going to bring out here, literally, he typically rolls deep. He rolls with a family. And I'm talking about the one, the only, Louis Johnson of Harlem Haberdashery. Bring him out. Yes.
I thought you were going to say Louis Johnson of the Brothers Johnson.
Hopefully this evening, that's not what it's all going to be about, NightWatchman. Okay. So gentlemen, I have actually really kind of invited you here to tell your story, tell your journey. Okay. So without further ado, you know what? KB, why don't you kick it off and really tell me about your journey? Tell me about Plush Vodka. Plush Vodka.
Plush, you gotta get it right. Yeah. So Plush Vodka with a first premium plum infused vodka on the market. We're on our 5th year. Started out Malcolm Hale, who's the CEO owner. He started the brand 5 years ago. And funny thing, at the launch, a friend of mine, Sharice, she had invested in the product. So she invited me over to the launch. I went to the launch party, and I'm a vodka drinker. So I taste the vodka, and I was like, wow, this is good. Like, first I was kind of skeptical because it was plum. I was like, a plum vodka. So I tasted it, and I was like, wow, this is good. So she said, well, I want to introduce you to the owner. I said, okay. So as we're walking, this big gentleman, gray afro, older guy standing there. So I say, hey, how you doing? He said, how you doing? I said, well, I'm Kevin Bracey, KB. He said, oh, you want to meet my son? So I'm like, your son? I thought this was the owner. I said, no, my son. I go in the back. She introduced me to Malcolm. This guy is 27 years old.
Wow.
Married, 2 kids, and he started the brand.
Wow.
And that's how me and Malcolm met. Malcolm's in the building. See, right on cue. Malcolm's in the building. So so we met and we talked, and Malcolm was like, yeah, I heard a lot about you. I need some help building the brand, and we're gonna do some stuff in Harlem and the Bronx. You want to be a part of it? So I said, yeah, let's talk about it. So we chopped it up, and I said, I know a lot of people. my reach is long. And he said, yeah, I heard you know people. And he laughed it off. He said, Sharice told me you know everybody. I said, I know a few people. So Malcolm's all right, let's see what we can do. 2 months later, he hit me up. He said, yo, Kay, you got my product everywhere. Like, you know, celebrities, NFL players, football players. They got the bottle. You got pictures. Yo, I need you to be on my team. You need to be part of my team. We need to rock this out together. So me and him talked about it, and he made me an offer to be part of the team, and we've been rocking ever since.
Beautiful. Well, Malcolm, that's quite a story, my brother. Quite a story. You have anything to add on that?
I mean, yeah, I was 25 years old, but
oh, he's 25
yeah, when I met Kevin. Yeah, but yeah, we launched the product, and yeah, I met Kevin, and we instantly clicked, and we started vibing together, and it worked out, man. We've been growing the brand ever since, you know. So I appreciate Kevin for believing in my dream and growing up.
Very nice. Hey, next one. You know what? I never really kind of like knew or whatnot, Joe, that your particular instance is pretty long in terms of you've been doing the spirit thing for quite a while. Please tell me about your journey, man.
I mean, the best way to describe it is two ways people know me. It's either the salesman turned founder who's still a salesman, because as the guys here can attest, even though you create a brand doesn't mean you stop selling. Like, that's the realest part you can do. You don't leave the streets. You don't sit in an office space. We don't have that luxury. Or on the other side, I'm the crazy Puerto Rican that started tequila within my family. Because I should have done rum. I should have gone the other way. Whatever. I'm not going to say much. But my overall history in the game is I've done all three tiers. And by tiers, I'm talking about from the retail to distribution to supply. So I worked in a liquor store, owned a liquor store. I worked in distributor as a merchandiser, the guys that hook up the stores to make them fancy. And then I went as a salesman for 10 years.
Wow.
On the 10-year anniversary, I left this huge distributor to go to a tiny supplier.
Wow.
Which, of course, is the third tier. Traveled the country, got to learn a lot. And August 26, 2015, 7:30 in the morning, I woke up. Orlando, Florida, a friend's house, and I retired. I'm out. My heart told me to do it. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what I was going to do. But for years, people told me it was time to do my own brand. And I said, you know, my heart will tell me when it's time. And my heart told me. So being a single dad from Spanish Harlem, the first call I made was to my son. He was actually with his grandmother. 7:30 in the morning on a Friday in the summer. My son doesn't want to hear from me. Call him up. What's up, Dad? I'm like, look, son, I'm going to create a brand from scratch. And he's like, what? I said, you know how you make me buy all these video games and all these toys and products for you? Somebody creates this from their mind and turns it into reality. And then we go and buy it, and they make money every time we buy it. We're going to be the people that make money every time people buy something. And he said, I remember he woke up and he was like, do it, Dad. You're going to be huge. I said, if it doesn't work out, it'll be your fault. I love you, son. So the next two calls I made were to my mom and dad. And this is so important because they've only agreed on three things in my life. Getting divorced when I was 10, worked out for everybody. Hood stories. Like, trust me, don't feel bad for me on that one. The second was when I left this huge distributor to go to a small supplier. And this was the third fateful day, the third time that they agreed wholeheartedly and said, we've been waiting for this call for years. I said, all right. So we drove up from Florida to New York, and the whole time I was doing word clouds on what was going to blow up, what made sense. And I knew tequila was about to be on the uptick. I knew it was going to swing. The way it's gone crazy, I knew this was going to happen. At the same time, I knew flavors are going to be big. So I just did flavors. So starting off, we did the Blanco, of course, the Pure El Puro, as you would say. I wanted to create something extremely smooth and easy to drink because the part people don't know is when I retired, I went back to work in one of the biggest liquor stores in the city, my old distributor job, and a friend's bar to reboot my mind. I traveled the country. I learned a lot. I got to a high level, but I wasn't as in touch with the streets as I used to be. So I went back, I bore my soul, so to speak. I started from scratch. I humbled myself. And I learned the top two reasons people don't drink tequila was that burn. And people would touch their throats. They would go, the burn, I don't like it. Or that bad night in college with lesser tequilas. So you know what? I'm going to conquer those things. So we created something so smooth. We won back-to-back medals, gold medals at the World Central competition. The Wine and Spirits San Francisco competition. One other ones also, but that's the biggest one. So I conquered that issue. Designed this bottle with one of my best friends on my sofa. Made for bartenders to do everything they do. All the fancy stuff, of course.
Nice.
Many Latinos watching this are going to be mad at me because I spelled YaVe key wrong, but I didn't spell it wrong. I did not. I know what I'm doing. So if you spell it with 2 L's, people don't know how
They
to say
won't
it.
pronounce it. Yeah, right.
Exactly. You're lost in that. So YaVe, of course, means key in Spanish, spelled phonetically. Capital Y, capital V, because YaVe means now you see in Spanish. Seeing is believing. Start this whole thing with $20,000 in a dream, and now it's become something. And the third reason was in Spanish culture, we say ya tu sabe, like now you know. Our Spanish tagline is ya tu llave. So it was a triple entendre, if you would. Like it's crazy behind it. And of course, made the world's first mango for mi abuela. My grandmother died before I made this. I wanted to honor her. That was Wella. So I didn't do this. I'm a genius. The world's first mango didn't come from the mind, came from the heart.
Nice.
This one's winning. All natural. We macerate the fruit, add it to the award-winning Blanco. You could drink it straight on the rocks, mango mojito, mango margarita, whatever. Then came jalapeno, which the spicy margarita is #1 drink in the country right now. It was trending up when I was creating this. The difference between YaVe jalapeno and other jalapeno vodkas, tequilas, rums, whoever else makes it, is they go for the spiciest. I went for sabor de jalapeno, which means the flavor. So we took the seeds out. So you can taste it, you get the essence of it, but it won't burn because as a bartender, you can spice up, you can't spice down. So that was strategy behind it. And then the last one, and we just brought it back, is Reposado. And the reason I say brought it back is because for the first 2 years of YaVe, we were backpack selling. I'm talking about trunk of my car, backpack, masterpiece style. Not joking. Whatever it took to build it. A couple thousand cases later, the industry took notice, and now we're with big distributors. And I have a team around me that guides me extremely well. We do all the right things. And when the world ran out of Reposado, we made the choice to bring back our repo. Because for the first 2 years, we had a Blanco Repo Añejo, mango, coconut, jalapeno. When we started selling Joe Lahane, who's my mentor, who used to be one of the biggest companies in the world, who's now my chairman, said, you need to slow down, stop selling. And I said, that's crazy. Stop selling. That's all I do. He said, trust me. We took a few steps backward to take tons of steps forward. We launched our Blanco Mango Jalapeno, and then we brought this back. And the super beauty is I get to announce now we're bringing back our coconut in April, and that was dedicated to my mother, single mother who raised me. She ate and drank coconut when she was pregnant with me. So that's pretty much
what a story. What a story. So
I'm trying to make it quick so everybody else can talk because I get hyped. I go to sleep. So it's like, I want to show love. But appreciate you guys.
Well, this next product or products, requires, let's say, they say a village, a whole family to actually bring to the forefront. Lewis Johnson Jr., please tell us the story. Lewis? I think we just lost Lewis. Okay, you know what? We just look for him to come back in, all right?
He'll be back.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Yeah.
Now, Kevin, you know what? I got to ask. What are your thoughts about people of color in the space of spirits, man? Tell us.
It was it's a challenge, man. It's not Lou's back. Let Lou rock out.
Okay, Lou, you there?
This thing keeps cutting out.
No worries. Okay, so tell us your journey. Tell us about Harlem Haberdashery and your spirit journey.
Oh wow. So our funny thing was we give an annual masquerade gala every year in March, and we
which is
just
off the chain,
doing
ladies and
our
gentlemen,
masquerade.
off the chain.
Oh yeah, right. And so we came back to the boutique that following week, and we were at our planning committee meeting, and we were just talking about what we were going to do for the next year. And this young lady that we had teamed up with that was helping us place the spirits out there and get things together, she walks in and she brought some guests. So we went to the backyard, and so we were all sitting there talking, and they wanted to share with us, who they are, and their family-owned distillery in Boston, and this is what they do, and so on and so forth. So they pull out this trunk. They start pulling out all these bottles. We start drinking. We're tasting. Some of the ladies in our crew, they like, sweet drinks and fruity drinks. Mm-hmm. Some of the guys, me and Kels, we like dark liquor. We just straight dark. And Guy, he don't care. He just drink whatever. So long story short, we sitting there, and so the partner said, well, have y'all ever thought about doing your own liquor? We all looked at each other like, nah, we know needle and thread. Don't nobody know nothing about no liquor. So he said, well, there's some things we could do, So sat down, talked with him. About 18 months later, we produced a rum, a gin, and a vodka, and it's been tremendous. I have to shout out my brother Joe, because with Joe and his family at YaVe, they really kind of walked us into a few places that hadn't even thought about us, So YaVe Tequila comes in like just doing things for the community and for themselves. So I have to first shout him out, But it was just it was a great mix after we got it rolling. We're now going to be 6 years old in November. We're coming out with a whiskey, and so we're just doing it. We're doing what we got to do.
Nice, very nice.
Now, can we also go back, because we didn't really talk about Harlem Haberdashery, because the journey kind of started there. So let's not leave that part of it out.
Okay, go ahead, Lou.
So what did you want to know about Harlem Haberdashery? This is my life.
Well, just for people who, there might be a couple of people who are listening who are not aware of it. So I just want you to tell them about that part of the story.
Okay, well, Harlem Haberdashery will be 10 years old this May. So everybody get ready for the Kentucky Derby of the year at the boutique. But we'll be 10 years old this first week of May. We started by being a custom brand, 5,001 flavors. So we started a custom brand, and that's going to be 30 years in May. Started a custom brand, was doing for all the celebrities out there, folks that wanted to have red carpet ready appearances. And
very nice.
Doing Chris
Very
Brown
nice.
at that time, and I did Chris Brown for the MTV Awards, and I had him in white. And they had him flying through the air with this white suit on. And I don't know why everybody kept looking at the suit. They kept like, oh my God, how amazing. Long story short, we just started getting these hits, and record labels were sending me emails and, hey, check your email. We got this kid in Wisconsin that wants, so-and-so and so-and-so. So, we just kind of started, we was like, well, you know what? Let's start a boutique. So 10 years ago in May, we opened up our boutique on 245 Lenox Avenue. Right there between 122nd and 123rd, and we've just been doing it, So we have 5,001 flavors that birthed Harlem Haberdashery. Harlem Haberdashery, the family brand, now has birthed, HH Bespoke Spirits. We have alkaline water, and so we're just doing it. That's how it started with us.
Beautiful. And KB, you were starting down the road in terms of talking about the let's say lack of diversity in let's say spirits and liquor.
So there's very few diversity in spirits. It's unfortunate, but I'm saying the others don't want us in the game. There's always roadblocks that's put up when we try to enter, especially when you're not with a major distributor in the beginning. People are not checking for you. They want to know if you're with these major distributors. If not, we don't want to open up an account. So we get all these different roadblocks. But we were able to fight through with a lot of relationships. And relationships is key. We able to build off each other. I may know a bartender or a promoter. I say, hey, you walk this in. We work this out. And that's how we'll be able to get in certain places. It's built on relationships that we built out. And then, the support of the community was huge. The support of the Divine Nine, which I'm a Sigma. So all the frats, they were huge getting behind us and pushing the brand out.
Nice.
So that was a big push. But as far as that, breaking that door down, it's a grind. It's a nonstop grind. It's going to be a continued grind until which we collectively talked about, is creating a space where we all can come in and we create the brand ourselves. We have our own distilleries. We start bringing in other people who want to start spirit brands into the distillery, and we create for ourselves. That's going to be the next step. I bounce things off of Joe Cruz. I holler at him. We have an event going on. I holler at Joe. Joe hollers at me. I swing by Lou. Lou, what's going on? Lou gives me a holler. Like the three of us, the four of us with Malcolm, we all know each other. Like we're in this game and we all piggyback off each other. I remember I asked Lou, I said, Lou, I'm trying to get out in California. He said, wait a minute, I got a spot in California that we got in. Let me give you the number. That's how we rock. So Lou gave me the number to spot in California when we wasn't out there. Now we in California. Joe Cruz, I had an event. I said, Joe, I got an event going on. You want to do this event with me? Joe was like, let's do it. Let's have a party. Let's do it. And that's how we do. And it's been rolling ever since, man. So we a good crew.
I think we
good crew.
Nice. You know what?
We can do that little.
Go ahead. Say that.
I think we should do that more. I think we should do that a lot more with helping each other grow. At the end of the day, none of us competitors, so I think we should help each other grow a lot more, and help get distributor contacts. And me and Joe don't know each other. We never met, or Lou, but me and Joe talk a lot on Instagram, and we share some pointers with each other. But I would like us to sit down one day and just have an open conversation to help each other to grow. I have a lot of knowledge. Joe has a lot of knowledge. Lou has not a lot. So we can help each other grow substantially, So I'm down to sit down and help each other.
Beautiful. That's the beauty of this particular connection here in Harlem, is that there seems to be a real cooperative spirit, no doubt. And you heard from KB in terms of the experience, in terms of not necessarily seeing a whole lot of blacks and browns in the space. So Joe, tell us about your experience, man. Did you go in there with sharp elbows, like making your way forward, or what?
I mean, first thing I'm going to say is true power is empowering others. That's why us helping each other is huge, because the more I rise in the ranks and the bigger YaVe gets, I tell people all the time, I'm going to drop the ladder down for other people. I can't make you climb it. I can't force you, but the ladder's going to be there. The more doors I kick down, the more opportunities I open, it's for everybody. It's not just me. At the end of the day, the money part is cool. I collect karma points. I like doing the right thing that comes back. I just want to say that because the guy shouted me out, but they all had open arms too. Kevin invited me to one of his parties with the whole crew. I showed up with some bottles and I was like, "What's up? Where are we at?" And I was literally the only light-skinned dude there, me and Brad. I love that. I played basketball in Harlem, so it was always black dudes and me. And I was like, let's go. I was white boy because I was the only light-skinned dude, even though I was Puerto Rican. All the time, used to it. It is what it is. But in terms of diversity in the game, I'm privy to a lot of the bigger events than these guys because I've been in the industry my entire life. So I know the guys who own the distributors, the guys who own the big suppliers, et cetera. And they knew me as a kid, so they've seen my growth, and they respect it. They give me a lot of props. They help me out where they can. So I'm allowed into a lot of these huge events and these huge award ceremonies. And something I'm going to say, and it's as real as it gets, I'm the only, I'm not going to say that we're a minority because that's a mindset. It's not reality. We're not a minority. So I'm the only multicultural dude there that has a It's a bunch of salesmen. It's a bunch of workers. It's a bunch of Latinos and blacks, but they don't have anything to do with the product. And if they do, they're building somebody else's brand. And I said as a young kid when I first got into the game, and my dad told me one day you need to own your own product because my father, godfather, uncles have all been in the industry. So I've learned through osmosis through them. So this is really generational for me. But my dad once told me, you want to build your own product. And I told him that day, and this is teens when I was in a liquor store. I said, my goal is never to be the CEO of another man's company.
Wow.
I had my own. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what I was going to do. Didn't know I was going to get into liquor. And subsequently, a little before that, me and my mom had a blowout. Like, what are you going to do with your life? You're too smart. You're too talented. I said, Mom, I don't know, but I'm going to be able to retire when I'm 45. That's all I said. Again, no plan. I just say things. And I figure it out as I go, just as I did YaVe. So when it comes to this industry, there's not enough diversity. We know that. The bigger companies are starting to invest money in that, to be honest. They're starting to do it. But even though that's cool for me, I'd rather start it from the ground up and keep building and building and building the slow way that we're doing. Because it means a lot more than it's that pride. Because when something's given to you, you don't appreciate it as much. No. When you go through the struggle, every case and the guys on here, KB, Malcolm, Lou, you guys know, every case you sell is like, I did it. It's not like other companies who are selling millions. I walked into accounts where literally the man was racist. He supported a certain president. He didn't like Latinos and blacks, and he bought YaVe. I love that stuff. I love hearing like, he's not going to make cool. Challenge accepted. Like, what are you telling me? I come from the hood. Like, I'm not scared to walk into an account. So we need a lot more of it, but it's guys like us that are paving the way to show kids you don't have to be an athlete, a celebrity. You don't have to hustle on the corner. We just have to show them differently. We could talk about it all we want, but action speaks louder than words, and I'm all about that, man. And again, for these guys, whatever they need, if I got it, you got it. It's that simple for me, man.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Lewis, you've heard, of course, the story in terms of, let's say, the lack of diversity. We already know that. But you, coming from clothing, style, to suddenly now liquor, that must have been highly challenging. Please tell me about what you guys encountered in your journey, which continues, by the way.
Well, it was challenging for us because we actually set in where we did not want to use any celebrity to represent our brand. We really wanted to hit the streets. Like, I walked many a days up and down Lenox, all around Harlem, going over to the east side, walking into places, leaving samples or giving them, doing a sample tasting with them. Like we wanted to do this on our own. And we wanted to do that just because Guy, my business partner, he don't believe in no flyers. He don't believe in no posting coming soon. Let's if we're gonna do it, let's just go out and do it. So that was pretty much ours. And again, there are some places out there, like Joe said, walking into those places where you have, a certain person, and you just, I just say, keep these samples. Maybe you'll taste them in your off time, or your staff that helps you pick, the stuff. I just keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
Gotcha. Well, certainly all of you guys have claimed Harlem is our home, right? Have you received any resistance from your product on any of Harlem's liquor stores or distributors? Tell me, anybody.
Well, so in the beginning, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell to the yeah. And it's amazing because you just got to take it with a grain of salt. Like, I've got rejected at spots where I frequent. Like, I go there and it's like, do I stop going there because they're not carrying the brand? Or do I keep going there and they keep seeing me and they'll be like, oh, you know what? I give it a try. So that's the mindset I flipped it, because, so a couple of spots I go to and I couldn't believe that these people know me and wouldn't give us a try. Wow. And eventually they did, and then we started to move. There was a couple of liquor stores. Matter of fact, Lou got me into one of my first liquor stores in Harlem with Mr. B, because I went to Harlem Haberdashery and I was kicking it with Lou, and I gave Lou a bottle and we were talking. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna go see Mr. B on 119th. I was like, who? Mr. B owns 119th. Tell him I sent you. And that's how I got into 119th and started, branching from there. We started branching from Harlem. So Lou, I never forgot that, Lou. Good looking out. And that's how, but there's certain places in Harlem that wouldn't let us in. And there was one quick story. There's one place that's closed now, but I tried to get in, and they said, we already took a new brand, which was Lou's brand. And we already took a new brand, and we don't have enough space for another brand. Right. So I was like, because real estate and bottle space, that's real estate. On the bottle on the shelf, it's real estate, and they only can have so many bottles across the shelf. So if we can't fit, we just can't fit. So, but I respected that, and I was happy because it was Lou that she was talking about. I was like, okay, you got a little. All right, cool. We move it on. So that's what it was.
Nice. And I can only imagine, let's say, Malcolm, you a young buck right in this particular space. I could imagine you were probably met with some suspicion. Does he really know what he's talking about here in terms of liquor? Tell me about it early on.
All of the time. They always think I'm a kid. 25 years old. Now I'm 31. But my is just their mind at every time. I don't let any distributor, any sales rep, any one of my team do anything that I won't do. So me, I go out and do tastings. I go out and close accounts. I go out and pitch distributors, whatever is needed. And I always, we always, prevail above what we have projected. So I prove by my work, and I just gain their trust and gain their respect after that. So for me, definitely we had a lot of issues, the same issues that everyone here had. But for me, I don't take no for an answer. I back it up with my own money and my own hard work. I'm from Brooklyn. I know you guys from Harlem. So for me, I don't take no for an answer. We have no choice in Brooklyn or Harlem to take a no for an answer. So for me, you got to back it up with your money, your time, your hard work, your dedication. And that's what I do every day.
Beautiful.
It's nothing that's going to stop from doing that.
Malcolm, let's go back to when you were 25, because you didn't really tell us the beginning of your story and how you got into this.
Okay, so I started the brand at 25. I didn't have any experience in the industry. But I always been an entrepreneur since I was 15 years old. I owned my first business at 15. My father owned businesses, so I was in the industry. I was in the entrepreneur space since I was 6 years old. So for me, I always knew that I won't work for someone. I'm going to work for myself. I'm going to provide opportunities for someone else. And for me, I pride myself on providing opportunities for people on my team to feel like they work for themselves, or they're part of something, not working for me. So for me, I wanted to create a business that was more family oriented. And when I started in 25, I want to create a spirit that's a lot smoother on your palate. Vodka is known to be very harsh, and I did some research, and my friend basically told me, like I'm sure a couple guys told you guys, we couldn't do it. Who you think you are? You think Diddy or anybody? No, you don't have the back end to do that. So for me, I did some research. I said, you have to stand out from the bottle shape, from the flavor, from the name. So I wanted to come up with a plum vodka, which wasn't offered in the stores at the time. And we created a premium plum infused vodka that is 8 times distilled. It's gluten free. It's all natural flavors. There's no artificial flavor into it. Nice. It's a very smooth product. So we started off myself, investors. It was challenging. Most investors wanted 80% of the company because it was a startup, or 50% of the company. So I decided to fund the business myself. I invested $20,000 to start, and then I eventually ended up investing $70,000 total. Because investors I just wasn't willing to give up major stakes in my company. And I just invested in myself. And to be honest with you, how I invested it, I had money from my prior business that I saved up with 2 kids and a fiance at the time. I took a major risk, and I actually started working Uber to fund the business at one point, because I didn't want to give up major ownership. And I made $100,000 a year doing Uber, which most people were like, how? And I was able to invest the money to grow the business, to meet the right partners, to grow the business to where it's at today. And, now we're growing internationally, 17 markets, over 2,000 retailers. Me and KB working on deals in Singapore, Philippines, Bahamas, Jamaica, Bermuda. The brand is growing, and we still humble, and we're going to always be humble and continue to work hard every day. And that's my story, is dedication and hard work will get you to wherever you need to go. And that's what we pride ourselves on.
Man, that is sure enough, NightWatchman. That is Horatio Alger right there. That's the grind.
This whole crew, this is the hustle crew here, man. I'm like, I only get 5 hours of sleep a night, and I feel like I'm not working hard enough. It's like I'm re-inspired by this group here. So let me ask you guys a question. So, how do you what is your process for getting your distribution beyond this area? I mean, obviously it's when you live in the area, you can hit the streets and you use your contacts. How do you guys get into Florida and California and Arizona and other countries? What is the method that you push your brand?
Well, I can take this one because I understand a little bit more about how this works. But there's one mistake that most people make when they get into almost any industry, but mainly liquor, because it's so regulated. Is many people try to go nationwide right away. Right. And that's cool. But let's say you're selling 5,000 cases in the whole country. That's about 100 cases per market. If you can't grow that from year to year to year, it's a death sentence. So what you have to do is you have to get depth in the markets. You have to pick a few markets and you have to dominate those, so then you can copy and paste those plans as you go throughout the country.
Wow.
You have about, there used to be a lot of distributors, but now you have a top 3 pretty much, because everyone's joining up and partnering. So you have to have relationships. Kev said it best. Relationships are key. It's the reason for the key on the bottle. It means a lot more. In this industry, relationships are key from a supplier standpoint, from a distributor standpoint, from your retailers to the consumers. Like, you have to build genuine relationships, because now with all these celebrity-based brands, it's kind of gimmicky. And I don't disparage other people. So I don't say, like, with these guys who started brands, like, a lot of them grew up poor. A lot of them grew up like us, regular people. The difference between the guys in this panel and those guys is our starting points were different. Right. So they were famous already when they started their brand, and they just leveled up. We started as regular people, if you will, and had to level up from there. So we're doing is a lot more amazing, and those stories are starting to encapsulate the industry. Like people want to hear the stories on this panel. People are getting tired of a celebrity walking in and okay, flashy presentation, sell it's a flash in the pan. They do pretty well, and then the brand starts to drop, like most brands. Again, I won't name brands, but there's a vodka that was doing extremely well within this country, and a certain celebrity stopped talking about it. It dipped 50%. These are just real numbers. Like guys like us, we have an ascension plan, so it's growing slowly, getting depth in the markets, and then when you go to another market and they say, "How are you doing in your top markets?" When you can break down those 2 or 3 markets, they're going to take you on and say, okay. And then you need the deeper element is you need like brand ambassadors or market managers within the market. Because there's only one Joe Cruz, there's only one Malcolm, there's only one Lou, only one KB. You can't be everywhere all the time. So we have to pretty much the analogy of teach a man to fish. We have to do that within other markets to show people how we sell, how we work, the relationship building, etc. And then you start to dominate. Unless you have a small distributor in other markets that need your business and say, you know what, we want to help build you, then they become your partner directly as opposed to having a market manager. So there's a lot of different strategies, but those are a couple that make sense for the long-term growth. Because again, I know brands who have recently gone national. I know about 7, 8 brands who have gone national and sold a lot of cases right away. And my question was, what happens in year 2? Because if you dip, people look at you kind of sideways, kind of like, what are you doing over here? Do you know what you're doing? So it's take your time. It's a marathon. It's not a race. And it's working so far for everybody who's here. So that's how I see it.
Gotcha. Well, one of the things
I agree with Joe. I agree.
Appreciate you.
Go ahead.
I agree with Joe on everything he said. I was saying I agree with Joe with everything he said. I said I agree with Joe with everything he said, and we take the same approach. I mean, we don't go into a market unless we have a brand ambassador in that market, a market manager or brand ambassador in that market. We don't. KB no, he wants to launch in North Carolina. I told him no until we find a brand ambassador there or the right distributor there. So for me, we had people reach out to us. I'm sure Joe and Lou has people reach out to you in different markets, but it doesn't make sense if you can go there and sell 20 cases a month. What is that going to do for you? So for me, I make sure that every market we go into that we can penetrate it, or we don't go into the market at all. Unless the international market is a little different, because most people who reach out internationally, they want to push it. So I make sure that they're going to push it and put a budget on it internationally, because we can't be there, of course. But in the U.S., we do not go into launch into a market unless we have a qualified or 2 to the market. And that's what I advise anyone to do. Don't just launch into a market because someone's reaching out. That's not going to hurt. It's going to hurt your brand more than it helps your brand. Like Joe said as well, build it up organically. You don't want to rush 1,000 cases in one market and then drop to 200 cases. That's going to hurt you. So I agree.
Beautiful. So Joe, as this one brother, let's say from a Puerto Rican parents and background, have you penetrated the Puerto Rican market there?
Well, I want to go back to a question you asked earlier about did Harlem accept you?
My
tagline is unlock possibility. Of course, with the key, unlock possibility. Anything is possible. Kid from Harlem started a brand. Anything can be done. But the first tagline we had was dreamt up in Harlem, made down in Mexico. And Harlem did not support me. Harlem did not show me love. It was the opposite. It was like, well, people ask for this tequila and that tequila. I'm like, have you ever met this celebrity and that celebrity? Has the owner ever walked in? Have they ever supported you? Do they grow up here? So I always learned to know the no's. People give me a reason why I know how to have a rebuttal. But there was very little love in the beginning. And there were a few people showed me a lot, but most people just wouldn't. They didn't reciprocate. Like they didn't see the vision. They didn't see the plan. And that's okay, because when I hear no's, I get this adrenaline inside me I can't explain to you. When somebody says no, I get this feeling like I can't explain it. It's just like, yeah, I'm balling. Because if they say yes right away, they might have said yes to anybody. When they say no to you, it's like, all right, let's overcome this. But I regress. You asked about the Latino side. It's funny, in the beginning, as we all know, Black, Spanish, anything when it comes to the multicultural set, the first thing is almost like envy and hate. How'd you do that? Where you got the money from? Do you really own it? And all these things. And now I'm at the point I'm like, Google me. I'm not even trying to be a fool. Just like in 2022, you can't lie. You can look it up.
That's true.
Yeah,
right. What's happening? And there was one time I was in an account. There's a few times this happened, but there was one time specifically I was in the Bronx doing a tasting. And I said the story from Spanish Harlem. I do what I do. And this guy is like, "You lying?" And I'm like, "Lying about what?" He said, "You're not from Harlem. I never seen you." I said, "Never seen you. What does that mean?" And right away he said, "Yeah, you from Harlem." And I'm like, "Why did we have to? Why did that have to happen real quick?" He's like, "Yeah, you're right." But I will say, you asked the question again. There's a reason things happen. Ironically, within the past couple of months, a lot of people have been coming together, and a lot of people have been putting me within their circles and their roundtables, etc. And it's because you have a lot of athletes, entertainers, and different kinds of celebrities and influencers. But there are very few people who are in the beverage business. Not even beverage alcohol, just beverage. So now people look at me a little bit differently. Like, they know the story. Again, you can look it up. People are learning who I am from other friends, etc. And I was in a meeting yesterday where it was told to me, everybody knows Joe Cruz, but nobody really knows him. And I'm like, yeah, because I play with everybody. I have my close circle of friends and family. But I mean, I love everybody. I love you back. And they say your energy is always the same. And then when we realize what you've done and you've accomplished, we wanted to sit with you and learn more. And I'm like, I'm always down for that. As my mother told me as a kid, and I'm not going to say the curse word because, you know, she said you're either all in or you stayed out. And I was like, all right. So I don't really half-ass things. If I commit to you guys, I told you I was going to be here. I got here early. No matter where I was traveling, I showed up to my house to be here for you guys. Because if I say I'm going to do something as a Latino, as a kid from the hood, I have to work 10 times as hard to get halfway as people who already had an advantage. And everybody here feels the same way. So we don't have the biggest budgets or the biggest team, but nobody's going to outwork me. That's not a thing. You can put that in stone. You're not going to outwork me. So that's something that I live by. And the thing I'll say, and this comes from my heart, you can't control the weather, you can't control COVID, etc. But you can control how hard you work, how you treat people, and what you do with your time. And those are things I commit myself to.
Beautiful, beauul And talk about.
I gotta say, Joe is as smooth as YaVe Tequila. You know,
Put me in a good day.
I love the part where he said, and that's the key, and he had the key right there. Like, yeah, listen.
My son, shout out to my son who made my life easy and allowed me to build this thing because he was great in school, got a scholarship, and he killed it. So shout out to JC3. That's my little man.
All right, JC3.
JC3. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So you know what? I want to find out from KB, knowing his background in terms of being a Greek, being a good old Q. I want to.
Hey!
Did I get it wrong?
Don't get twisted.
Man.
Hey, hold up. Lou's an alpha. Lou's Greek too. He's an alpha.
And I couldn't believe he just said that.
I know.
Man.
Okay. So please tell me that at every Sigma event, I will see some Plush vodka.
Oh, no doubt. It's not even only the Sigmas. It's across the whole Pan Atlantic Council. One of our partners that we brought on, Gene Tootle down in Atlanta, he's an Omega Psi Phi, and we do their golf outing. We're the biggest golf outing in Atlanta. Gene hosts it, and Plush Vodka is there. Gene's our guy in Georgia. He actually runs the Georgia and Florida market. He's a Q. We have a Zeta in Alabama. We have another Sigma out in California. They're part of the conglomerate of Plush Vodka. And then we have, other people that's down with our crew, our main people. But the Greek life is really supported from AKAs, Deltas. Everyone's always supported. They request to have us. And the key thing is they will purchase a product. You get a lot of people like, yo, can I get a case? Can I get a bottle? That's hurting our pockets. That's not helping us.
Right.
They will purchase the product. They say, you know what? We go to the store and buy this brand, but we know you, like Joe Cruz. No, we know the person, so we're gonna support you, and we're gonna go out and purchase the product to be at the event. Or if you got the product, we'll buy 5 cases from you, or what have you. So that's the most important piece of it.
Beautiful. Lou, can you say the same?
As far as my liquor being at every place, of course.
And also with as being an alpha too. Okay, tell us.
You know what? It doesn't even just go down to Divine. It goes down to everybody. I mean, again, I'm doing mine with a family. So there is 5 of us on a bottle, well, 6 of us on a bottle. But you have 11 of us that's in the family business under the umbrella. So everybody is out there pushing it and pulling it and taking it to places. So that was another thing why we didn't really need a brand ambassador. And I was listening to Plush and what they were saying. I was kind of taking some stuff that I'm going to take back to our meeting. But for the most part, we've been just doing it for 5 years now. It's been a great thing because it's just been the whole family just hitting it. We do team meetings every 3 months, and we actually look at who had a red stripe and who had a yellow stripe last one, and look and see what they're doing this time. And if it ain't doing it, then let's talk about this. So, but yeah, for the most part, we'll be in everything.
Nice. NightWatchman, for you, you have mentioned in terms of your experience when you were at school or whatnot, noting that there were no identifiable brands from people of color.
Well, even going back, so I've noticed this trend, and I go back to back in I'm going to say it was 96. I had an opportunity to meet Sidney Frank. Now, Sidney Frank was one of the biggest liquor billionaires at the time. He was responsible for Jägermeister. And at the time I met him, he had just launched Grey Goose. Yep. And there was, at that point in time, it was just at the beginning of the time where they were starting to recognize the power of hip hop in liquor marketing. And so, Pastor Courvoisier, Hennessy, because we had rappers that shouted out these brands. And when they first shouted them out, they weren't even getting paid for it. I don't think Busta Rhymes got anything for Pastor Courvoisier, but it went forward to a point where now the rappers not only started to get endorsement deals, but eventually you saw them going in and actually starting their own brands. But celebrity brands is different than what these brothers doing, because most celebrities don't start their brand from scratch. They usually come on board, and maybe either they're given equity in exchange for their name, or they're, given an opportunity to buy in. And so, but I've noticed in the last few years, the brands that are started by us and built by us, and there seems to be more of a desire by people of color to support their own brands. You've seen the attention to Uncle Nearest lately, but I think that this next iteration, the story about what we've got coming out of Harlem right now, is I'm so glad we have a chance to do this show, because it's not only showing the hustle, the competitive spirit, but also the cooperation. You listen to these brothers, and they're backing each other up every step of the way. It's not like, oh, Plush is doing this, I got it, because we recognize that in order for us to thrive in this industry, we have to work together. We got to support each other. So yes, I'm just really thrilled that we were having a chance to sit down and get you guys together. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to have an open invitation for you guys to come back after y'all ship us some samples. I'm only serious.
and really, that invitation stays, because remember, we want to definitely know that if you have a new product that's being launched, absolutely, you need to come on here and talk about it. All right. So definitely, NightWatchman. What do you think? Yeah. We're gonna have them actually give us some closing thoughts from your company, your brand, and also what is the future of, let's say, Plush Vodka. What do you see? Tell us. Malcolm, you want to take that?
Yeah.
So for us, I want to also mention that we have the world's first premium plum infused vodka cigar as well. So we are expanding this brand as well this year. We launching our 50 milliliter air bottles. We are on negotiating deals with airlines, resorts, hotels, and we looking to give back to the community more. We've been supporting a lot of HBCUs. But we want to give back to the community more with, for me personally, I want to give back to the community by giving financial literacy to kids from our communities, because the information that I know now about credit, about business, about building financial wealth, I want to give that back to the kids, because if I knew that when I was 15 years old, I would be a lot more ahead right now. So I want to give back to the community through Plush Vodka. We're going to create a foundation to the kids when it comes to education on financial literacy, when it comes to college tours, whatever we can do to give back to the community. That's one of the main priorities for me. But when it comes to the brand, we're looking to expand out into other countries and expand our current markets and keep growing that footprint. Anything else, but for me, it's about expanding our cigar brand, expanding our Plush Vodka brand. We are considering another flavor as well in the future. But that's the goal.
Can you tell?
Get back to the community.
Can you speak about that flavor?
I don't want to speak on it yet because we're in talk internally about which direction we're going to go. I don't want to speak on it, but it's definitely coming most likely. But that's the goal. But the main thing for us is just penetrating the markets that we in and continue to give back to our communities. Every time we grow financially, we want to give back to the community. That's the goal. That's the goal moving forward.
Beautiful.
And to me, that makes sense because where we come from, we don't have the same opportunities as everyone else in the world, and we want to make sure that we can help change that.
Excellent. YaVe, what do I see in my crystal ball? What do I see for the future, YaVe?
Well, it's first of all, I want to say I want to invite everybody to dinner at Fonda Boricua, one of my Puerto Rican brothers, James restaurant, so we could talk all this stuff out. Because we could talk about getting together, but I like to put the plan into action. So I'll post it. Dinner's on me, lunch on me, whatever, and you guys will get the account. More importantly, so it's an easy one that we can just come in and kind of vibe out. But for me, it's always been simple, man. The reason I love La Fonda so much is because something people don't know is during COVID, we were feeding 5,000 people a day from that restaurant. And it started with James and I kind of just saying, hey, this COVID, people don't have food. They don't have the basic needs. Let's try to help them. And then World Central Kitchen kind of stepped in and helped us and funded the product. And we were feeding 5,000 people a day. So I've become obsessed with that. I saw the power that I had, the reach that I had to bring other people in to help others. So I want to do a lot more of that. And even now we're working on, I just met with a nonprofit who has a food truck that goes around and feeds the homeless, but they don't have anyone to drive it. So I volunteered to kind of, take the bull by the horns and say, I'll drive it on weekends. I'll do at least the first weekend to get it rolling, and then I'll help fund it going forward. So for me, it's the most basic things. It's whatever I have, people have. Again, I don't need much to survive. If I told you what my monthly expenses were, you would think I was lying. I'm a minimalist times 1,000. I like to store my money, put it in other places, let it grow. At the same time, again, man, there's always reason not to do something, and most people find it. I'm not most people, so I want to unblock those obstacles for the people out there who, it's always reason not to do something. You don't have the money. My girl left me. It's cold outside. Nobody cares. The world doesn't care about those excuses. So I want to be one of the reasons that people can take those excuses away and just keep empowering other people. Like I said earlier, true power is empowering others. The real measure of a man's power is how much he can grow someone else's life and opportunities, etc. And I take that challenge very personally. And for me, it's all about everybody. I don't care if you're a young kid from Idaho. I don't care if you're a kid from Compton, a kid from Harlem. I don't care where you come from. If you see something in me that can help you, just reach out. And I might not hit you back right away. I'm going to hit you back because there's a lot of lost people in this world, and I've met a lot of them ever since I started YaVe Tequila. So the more I can do to help people, I will. And with the brand growing, I mean, it's inevitable. It's going to be one of the biggest brands in the world. I don't need to talk much on it. I said it from the beginning, and I believed in this so much that if God himself would have come down and said, I don't believe YaVe's going to work, I would say, I don't believe in God right now. I believe like I had to believe that much, where no matter what you said, I've never had one moment of trepidation since starting YaVe. I never sat back once and said this might not work. From the second I told my son what I told him, it was full steam ahead, and I didn't care who you were. If you were in the way, you were gonna get knocked out. I'm just keep going. Like it's just who I am by nature, and that goes to you guys too. If you guys need help with whatever, my cell phone hasn't changed, my IG hasn't changed. Reach out, and I'm gonna do my best to help you guys.
Beautiful. Well, Lewis, you have to tell us about Bespoke Spirits. What's the future?
Well, like I said, we're still growing. We're still with our same distillery in Boston, working on another one. I mean, we're in 17 places, 17 states now, trying to get to everything, because when I can't be in my own place, Seattle, there's a problem. So we're working with that. But right now, just fine-tuning this whiskey, which is really going to be dope. It's a smoother, kind of smoky taste, but it's going to be sexy enough for both male and female. So we're just excited about that.
Nice. Well, you know what, Night Watchman, I'm going to get it right this time. So my Sigma brother,
Yes.
take us home.
All right. So next year with Plush Vodka, we definitely about the community, and HBCUs is huge. I went to Winston-Salem State. I'm now in my last semester of my master's program at Mississippi Valley State. So I got
Congrats, my brother.
Appreciate it. So now I got 2 HBCUs here. I got Earl of Pearl Monroe's jersey behind me.
I noticed.
Represent Earl. So we big on this year. We pushing the scholarships, giving back to HBCUs and giving back to the communities. And we all have our passion. Malcolm has the passion of financial literacy to the kids, and we, me with the HBCUs, and we coming together, and we're going to attack both of those, and that's going to be the big push with Plush. Our cigars is huge. Coming into this year, that's going to be a huge market for us. We sampled it out last year, and it went crazy. Now we're going full blast with that this year, and we got the nip bottles coming out. That's going to be huge for us. We already in Philadelphia Airport, and 7 restaurants in Philadelphia Airport already. The brand is, so when we get the smaller bottles of 50 milliliters, that's going to be huge for us moving forward. So we're looking forward to that.
Beautiful. Well, definitely, gentlemen, you're going to have to actually, in terms of the cigars from Plush, Harlem Cigar Room, right there, right under the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Please.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. We're going to be there this year for sure.
Excellent. So, Night Watchman, take us home, buddy.
All right. Well, first of all, we got to say thank you so much, all of you guys, for coming on. And now we know for sure that if you on your liquor shelf, at the top of the shelf, you've got to have Plush Vodka. You've got to have Tequila YaVe. You've got to have HH Spirits. You can have the gin. You can have the vodka. You can have the rum.
Yes.
But those bottles need to be up there. If you're going to have a true Harlem liquor shelf, you need to have those bottles up there.
Right. Exactly.
So you've been listening to Soul Lounge Primetime or watching Soul Lounge Primetime. We're on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem, every Monday night at 7. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook streaming these great shows like this at 8 o'clock on Monday nights. Thank you for joining us, and stay well and stay in the spirits.
All right.
Gentlemen, thank you so much, guys. Excellent.
All right.
Appreciate you guys.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.